So I set myself a challenge how quickly I could turn £1,000 into £10,000. The first car I bought was a VW Bora, and we got this for £500 and we managed to sell it for £1,600. With that money I actually bought a Megane at 225 for £1,000, and this left us £600 to turn it into a profit. Now the car did need a full front end, so this did take up quite a big chunk of our budget, so I spent the rest of the money on servicing bits and things that just tidied up the car to make it look nice. Now this did include swapping out the seats in the car for my matching seats and harnesses out of my E30, and playing the YouTube card and getting help from companies from PBS and Alloy Wheel Fix to actually get the brakes done on the car and to get the wheels looking nice and shiny. Now at this point the car is all mechanically fixed and it is ready to go for an MOT, but we just need to do a few more things to make sure it stands out on that sale post to maximise profit. Now that is me talking to a camera without a mic plugged in. What a stupid bar steward, but I'm basically saying that it's ready to go for sale. All we need to do is make it look pretty, because the paint now is absolutely horrendous. Now the whole car is covered in scratches and it's completely faded, and some panels even look like this.
Now this rear quarter is definitely the worst. I'm probably thinking I'm probably going to need deeper than a polish. The few bits where I could probably get some compound and go a little bit harder and just get the scratches out. This panel is by far the worst.
Now bodywork and paint is one of the most important things when purchasing a car, because it's actually the most expensive things to put right. Body shops and paint shops charge so much money to fix things like this, so making sure your car looks the shiniest and the cleanest is so important to making good money. Because it's not only hard to hide things like this in photos, when buyers come and see the vehicle looking like this, it gives a terrible look on the whole car and it will put most people off even buying it, never mind giving you a low offer. Now we didn't have enough money in the budget to come and get some to professional detail it, so I ended up buying this on Amazon for £30. And if you want a job doing properly, do it yourself. Okay, that's a bit of a joke. I'm definitely not a professional detailer, but I definitely know somewhat how to use a DA, and I definitely know this is going to make the car look a lot better. We don't need to make it look perfect, we just need to make it look a lot better.
And this is exactly why. Look at the difference between those two panels, and I've literally just done a really quick pass with some polish. For how little that took, I'm going to go over the whole car.
And that's exactly what I did. I went over the whole car with the DA with just some auto glint polish, not even compound. And this is how it came out, and the results speak for themselves, even on that terrible rear quarter.
And it's pretty much got rid of all of that crap, whatever it is. That is so much better. I think this panel's been repainted actually. You can kind of see the paint difference a little bit here. See? Here's what it is. But wow, what a difference.
And the final thing I wanted to do was just fix this rust patch on the rear spoiler. So what I did was just sand it down, use some of the paint we had over, put some lacquer over the top, let it dry, and it came out looking a lot better. Again, not perfect, but a lot better. Now once we get the car outside, it looks absolutely insane, and we're ready to do the most important thing when selling a car: taking pictures. Taking photos is extremely important on the advert, and if you can use a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera or just some kind of camera different than a phone, it's even better. Now I take those photos and I put them on a software called Lightroom. This is where you can edit pictures. Now I don't lie about the car, I don't colour things in or hide things. All I do is just make the photo a lot brighter and just make some things stand out so people notice them more. Like for example, I'm just turning the shadows up so people can really see that the wheels have been done and they can see the calipers and see it's got new discs. Now these are some of the photos that I posted on the advert for the Megane on Facebook. I posted the car for £3,500 and a week later I accepted an offer of £2,800. I think a lot of the people were getting put off by the fact it had no interior, so this is the last time I'm going to do a full track car like this. But I sold the car for £2,800. And in total, I spent on the Megane at £1,386.50. That means I made a profit of £1,413.50, which is really, really good. So that leaves us with a pool of £3,038.50 to buy the next car. So let's see what we have got. So we had £3,038 to pick up another car to buy and flip for more money. So I actually picked up this Ford Focus ST2 in orange, the one that everybody wants. Everyone wants the orange. I got it for £1,800, which is a bargain if nothing is wrong with it. Now, I'm not absolutely totally in the dark about the car because I have done the most important thing, and I've actually done a car vertical check on this Focus. Car vertical is absolutely critical, especially if you're buying cars and especially used cars like me. This will show you absolutely everything about the car. It will give you 100% confidence in whether you should buy it or not. As we can see, the car has not been stolen. Mileage all links up. You can also see it's got no outstanding finance, which again is awesome. Amazingly, it actually has a timeline of the whole car. So you can see this has actually only had 3 owners. We can see here a full timeline of the car. Every MOT is passed or failed, every transfer of ownership, every license plate change. You can see an entire history on the car, what it's failed on, and this gives you a ultimate peace of mind when buying a second-hand car. Now, this is a really good one, but I'm going to show you what a negative one could look like, and it could save you from wasting a lot of money. Now, this is another Ford Focus. As you can see here, instantly, we've got some yellow warnings. Now, this was actually written off, and it's got photos of the crash and of the damage when it was at auction, and this one was pretty bad. This vehicle has been scrapped, meaning this cannot go back on the road. Category B, unrepairable. So if you're seeing a report like this and it's for sale, run away as soon as possible. So although this car is good from a legal standpoint, let's call it that, there is nothing guaranteeing that it's mechanically okay. So we need to get to the bottom of this. But if you want peace of mind when buying vehicles and you want to avoid a potentially catastrophic situation, there is a link in the description and there's a code on screen now, which is Lockwood, and that'll give you 20% off all checks. Now, these cars do have some 2 big issues which are actually quite prone or common to happening, and I hope to God it hasn't got one of them. Now, these engines suffer with cracked liners. Now, this is a big problem on these engines, and I think it's mainly because a lot of people put the pop and bag maps on, and I honestly don't think it's good for the car at all. So you see a lot of these cars with pop and bang maps, and you also see a lot of these cars with cracked liners. Now, this one I've actually got off my friend's dad. It's been sat in his yard for 2 or 3 years, and he was a mechanic, and he bought this car around 4 years ago with a blown engine. Now, he put another engine in the car, and it's basically been sat there since, and it just needs tidying up. Now, the paint on this car is actually really good. This colour actually suffers from quite a lot of lack appeal, and I can't really see anything on it. There's a couple of little scratches on the front splitter and a little bit of a crack on the front splitter down here, and you can just start to see some discoloration here on the bonnet. That might clear up with a polish or a DA, but potentially that might be the lack of starting to crack and starting to peel. Now, there are quite a bit of parts missing off the car, like the front grille and some bits on the bumper, and a lot of the things are missing the engine bay. The belt cover's not on, and there's obviously the ECU's just dangling down here, and there's just some brackets and stuff which aren't actually attached. They basically did most of the engine swap, got it running, and then just left it there. So I've come in and swooped it for 1,800 quid, which potentially is an absolute bargain if there's nothing wrong with the engine. It is absolutely as flat as a pancake. There is zero battery at all. It doesn't even light up, so we're probably going to need a new battery. I think the battery is completely foobar, but it does actually jump on a jump start. It does actually start up quite well. Now, when I first got the car off the trailer, I actually sat it in the corner for about 20 or 30 minutes because it was actually smoking quite a lot from the exhaust, and I was getting a little bit worried. Now, as the car got up to temperature, the smoking did stop quite a bit, but we're at full running temp and it is still emitting a little bit of blue smoke. I am getting a little bit worried by this, I'm not going to lie. Now, I took it for a quick drive up and down the car park, and it does get worse when you're on boost, so I'm hoping it's the turbo. I'm going to try and show you what it looks like when we're driving. I'm trying to show you a video of me going down the road and showing you the turbo smoke, but it keeps dying. So I think something is really wrong with the battery, that it's not even taking charge from the alternator and it's just cutting out. So I think I'm going to take the battery off, charge it,
and then show you the video.
So the car will literally only start and run if it's got an external battery powered to it, and I'm pretty sure the alternator is working, but I'm pretty sure the battery is that ruined that it's not even taking it from the alternator. That is coming off. See, it is a bit smoky, you see? Hang on, let's do it again. Let's see if I can catch it quick. So, there's definitely something wrong. And I'm thinking it's pointing towards the turbo. I think the turbo's gone. I just got to pray it's not the engine, it's not a liner. Pray, I've got to pray, I've got to pray, I've got to pray. I've got to pray. So before we go any further, I think the best thing to do is definitely smoking. We expected to do a little bit of work on it, and doing a turbo isn't exactly the worst thing in the world. But doing what could be the worst thing in the world is if it's the engine that's gone. I pray to God it's not. I honestly pray to God. So how we can do that is we can actually do a compression test. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a compression test. We're going to get it in the unit and do a compression test. But first of all, I'm going to go and put the battery on charge overnight and see. First of all, let's go and see if the battery is actually savable or if it's completely dead. Now, the battery doesn't actually look that old, so we're going to take off the car and go and put it on the snap on charge. Now, this will give us a rough idea if it's really ruined or if it is actually taking charge. I have got it on charge and it's going up by like 0.1 of a volt every few minutes, so it is ruined. So I'm going to give it like an hour or two on the charger and just see if the volts are creeping up. But odds are I'm probably going to have to buy another battery. Luckily enough, it's not stop-start ones. It should be about 50 or 60 quid or whatever. But obviously, every penny counts on this series, especially if the compression test doesn't go to plan. So I hope the compression test does go to plan and the engine's good. If not, it's going to be a new turbo, which I'm not that pissed off about. But if the engine's gone, I'm going to really struggle getting this done on the budget. So I guess for now I'm going to leave the battery for a few hours and we'll see in the next episode what's wrong. Is it the engine or is it the turbo? So I love you all and we'll see you in the next one. The good news though, central locking works. Nice. And let me just add as well, it's only got 86,000 miles on the clock, and I was told the engine came out, the new engine that's in there is similar mileage as well, which is great news. So let's pray and we'll see you in the next video.